20th episode of Veterans Talk Weekly. Yeah, you hear that, guys? We're already at 20 episodes of this weekly shit show. It's amazing. What was that, Bo?
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing how time flies.
Veterans Talk Weekly. Yeah. You hear that, guys?
Oh, background noise.
Yeah, for some weird reason.
That's
Fix
you,
your
Bo.
shit.
No,
Also, I
it's-
just had a 15-0 game.
Sorry, voice meter. My bad.
But, I figured actually what we were just talking about off air is actually a good way to get it started. And OBS, why the fuck are you fucking up again tonight? There's no goddamn reason for you to be dropping in stream rate. Hey, Factart, how you doing? Let's go here. Let's change this back to... Wow. Holy shit. There we go. Now you're happy again. I swear, people... Yeah, almost the right channel, though. But, so we were talking about the differences in licensing and everything between the US and some European locations. So, do you remember the point that you were in the middle of before we went live, Bo?
Well, it's just the health department had had some challenges for the can't even remember what's called now. The medical files of patients. Each region, country had their own filing system that it was digital, fully computerized, but they just weren't compatible with each other. So they can't just send a medical file from one hospital to another hospital if they were in different regions. They would have to literally print everything out in basically in a comma-separated text file or something to the equivalent of that, and get it transported to the receiving hospital. And they at some point they started on a project making a new system that would be compatible with each other. I can't remember the specifics, but I do remember them having issues with it, even though it cost a whole buttload of millions of taxpayers' kroners, and it still didn't work.
That's nothing. Ours was different for every hospital and every GP surgery, and it took the NHS 4 attempts to get a national system that would work together, each of which cost hundreds of millions of pounds plus.
And that's the thing, is people here in the US are like, oh, it's so simple to do and set up. Look at all these European nations. They've done it. It's like, have you not realized the growing pains that they had? And we have a larger population to boot. You think it's going to be an easy transition?
Yeah,
my God, are you deluded if you do?
I mean, yes, there is. We could argue that, well, yeah, if you had a larger population, that means that you have, because of the tax dollars, a lot more money to play with in terms of, throwing money at a system that would work. But to a certain point, from a certain point, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at a problem, it won't make it better or fix it.
Well, yeah. If simply throwing money at a problem was the solution, why are there any social issues here in this country? Think about it that way. If simply having the money was the solution, why isn't the United States the undoubted model that every country should strive to be like? Oh, wait, that's right. It's not how much money you have. It's knowing how to utilize it and actually making wise decisions with it.
Yeah. And 2020 hindsight is a great thing.
And I agree. And that's where I won't fault too many government programs for failing when they try to apply it. The only time I have an issue is when the predicted failure is so apparent that a layperson, when looking at the framework, could see the issues and see the problems. That's when I take issue with it, because it's like, oh, come on, guys. If someone who doesn't know jack shit can recognize it, why didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, creating a database, just for yourself and a couple of friends or whatever it is, or even for a small company or a larger company, it may be easy to make a database of, you have I don't know, 20 different rules you can apply to a product listing, and maybe 50 different administrators have to keep updating the system. But yeah, that's okay, fine. You can easily do that. You throw a couple $100,000 at it, and you have a great system. Cool. But we're talking about a system that is exponentially larger.
That's the problem. They don't scale linearly. They don't scale linearly, do they?
Exactly. No, I mean, it's not just a matter of a price, weight, volume, type of materials, and hazardous material instructions for not what do you call them? Even numbers. Hazmat numbers for the materials being used. No, we're talking a whole lot more.
Yeah,
it's not just something you can do.
Yeah, and when you look at just health records, here in the U.S., you also have privacy laws that are very stringent that have to be adhered to, which is insanely prohibitive to obtaining and maintaining a national database for medical records. That's one of the challenges that they've run into, independent of trying to do a more nationalized healthcare system for insurance and payment purposes.
Oh yeah,
they've been trying to do that database for records for easily 15, almost 20 years, and the biggest hurdle is the privacy law hurdle.
Mm-hmm. And as I understand it, in the U.S., if I see a license plate on a car and it's a privately owned car, with that license plate, I can find the person's name, the owner's name and address. I may have to pay a small fee to do it, but it's easily done. That is literally impossible to do in Denmark. Most of the EU, I would imagine. The same goes for if I get a person's social security number in the US. It would also be easy to find that person's name and home address. Again, totally impossible in Denmark. So that's why I have now started to understand when people start wailing when they see on a YouTube video that the license plates on cars that you can see in that video are not blurred out. Well, hey, fix that system. Why would it be usable? Why? You shouldn't be able to see that.
Well, and here's another bit to go along that is, because the way the laws are in the U.S., yes, you can get that sort of information from someone directly. You can get that information about someone from the vehicle they're in. And by that rationale, you should have to blur out license plates. And some people do. Some people who get that on footage actually do take the time to edit out that sort of information. And kudos to them that do. However, there are no laws in place when filming in public locations, which includes the public roadways, that you have to do that. Just like oftentimes you'll see some people who blur out other people's faces and those who don't. It's same rule applies. If you're out in public, it doesn't really matter depending on the state you're in. on what is and is not allowed and what is not enforceable. Now, with me doing the moto vlog coming up, which I'm going to let everyone know over the winter, the first few episodes are going to be not on the bike because it's going to be about my gear, my setup, my plans, and also the bike that I am getting or multiples that I am looking at to get. And the actual riding portion won't be until the spring when the actual weather is then rideable. And part of that is because of the way the licensing system in my state works, which if anyone's curious, I can tell you all about that. But beyond that, my intent, I will be filming everything that I see, because where my eyes go, that camera's going to go. And what I put into the vlog portions, I'm going to do my best to block out license plates where I can, but if I miss one or two of them, well, I'm human.
But what really annoys me when I find myself using Google Street View, for example, to find the name of a company or trying to find the actual address of a shop that I went to try and contact them, for example, and I use Google Street Maps. They have universally chosen to blur out certain shop signs. It's not physical, it's not people blurring it out. It's a computer blurring things out, but it really is annoying. But they're trying to blur out license plates. What do you call them? Shop fronts sometimes, and I've even seen street signs being blurred out. That's probably misfiring, but still. And
it's actually, they have a team that does that.
Yeah, but also people's faces. Again, it's in public, so why do it? Well, here is probably a matter of just, you know what? It would be so much cheaper for us to just blur everything out than it is to deal with people complaining about their face being shown and all that stuff. It's just cheaper to blur it out, but it's annoying.
Here they just seem to blur out the people's faces on Street View. That's the limit. Car registration plates.
TFC's face is also blurred out. Colonel Sanders, no face for you.
Oh, yeah.
That's an eating. No, what do you call it? A restaurant racism, restaurantism. Yeah. What about McDonald's? I don't know if they still use the clown.
Ronald McDonald. You still see the character around.
Yeah. But again, I imagine that an algorithm takes care of most of it and flags pictures that are in doubt for people to work on, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, the one thing I don't have to worry about with Street View is anybody actually finding a photograph of my home, because they have the picture of the wrong building for my address.
Oh. So they actually go to the boonies?
Well, they drive the car up the road, but Google thinks my address is in a different physical location to where it is. It's across. It's the wrong side of the street and about 50 yards up the road.
Well, again, it's always been, from the beginning of online maps with addresses you can look up. It's always been completely automated. You have a street that has, in Denmark at least, most other places as well, the street, the house numbers are sequential, and for us, it's even numbers on one side of the road and uneven numbers from on the other side of the road, and the road number. I mean, the house numbers starts from the center of the city or the town. That's how they determine which end of the road starts for convenience issues. Now, if the street has 200 house numbers, that's 100 numbers on each almost 100 house numbers on each side of the road. If it's 1,000 yards long, well, you can guess what they do. They just split it up into distances of 10 yards and be done with it. If people complain about it, then they adjust it as the complaints come in or the corrections come in. That's probably why they have your address incorrectly marked. And that goes, that's not just Google, that's everyone, all the map parts. I mean, I imagine they these days could implement, some software that recognizes house numbers, just as they recognize speed limit signs on roads these days.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that
different fonts.
The property I live in was only built 21 years ago, so it post dates a lot of the databases that they actually use.
Yeah.
Over here we tend to, in the UK, we also tend to use the even numbers on one side, odd numbers on the other side, except where we don't.
Yeah. Well,
the interesting thing is where you have the odd numbers on one side and even numbers on the other, is statistically you are more likely to live in a odd numbered building than in an even numbered building.
Say what now?
Yes, statistically, you are slightly more likely to live in an odd numbered property than an even numbered property.
Yeah, because they generally start with the number 1.
Correct.
But
I have a question. What is the texture of a sea cucumber?
Oh, that's not a sea cucumber. That was a sea sponge.
Okay, what is the texture of a sea sponge?
Have you ever played with a loofah?
No.
Well, that's what a loofah is when it's alive.
I think that.
So it should feel like a sponge then?
A slightly well, it depends. Down in the water, yes, it will feel a lot like a regular sponge. Out of the water and dried, it will feel rather rough.
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay, so it can only be used as a little fleshlight if I, keep it in the seawater.
Are you talking about raping a sea sponge now?
He is.
It looks like the perfect mouth. You gotta admit. Just look at that Cookie Monster sea sponge.
No, just remember, the afraid look means no.
Oh, okay. I just thought that was its blowjob face.
No.
I tried to convince a catfish of giving you a blowjob. I would like to see that.
So you guys talking about addresses and all? This is an apartment complex that I used to live in, and if you looked it up on GPS, Google, or anything like that, it would actually say the address is right here where my mouse is, instead of up here where the actual entrance is.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like what you were saying, bro.
Yeah, and I don't know, in the U.S., street numbers, they're. I mean, I've seen some weird stuff. With 4-digit street house number, and the one next, the two houses next to each other are maybe 10 numbers apart.
Yeah, that has to do with property lines and how things have changed.
Oh, as in one property is wider than the other, not deeper but wider,
Yeah,
Sort of.
it takes up more numbers.
that's part of it, yes. Because when they initially plotted out, they're like, okay, we're going to do a plot this size per address number. And then when someone buys a plot, they may buy multiple plots and build across that and turn it into one property when it actually should be multiple. And actually, my house is partly like that because there are 2 front entrances to the house. They are actually spanning 2 different house numbers. They are only off by 1 property allocation, but it's all one building. But because of the size of the property, it is technically taking up the primary address number and the adjacent one. So when you look at my house number, you'll see, okay, there's my actual address number. There's a door on the same building with the next one, if you're paying attention. But then the next building, the neighbor's house, there's that gap in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's just so much easier, for example, for a police officer trying to find the right door to to a domestic abuse complaint. I mean, in England, in Denmark as well, I mean, they could just see, oh, okay, oh, there it is. They don't have to, even if there isn't a number on that specific house, they could just do a simple count of doors, almost always.
Yeah, we like making shit more difficult, though.
Yeah.
There is one disadvantage of my house not appearing on Street View correctly or on Google Maps correctly, even though I have taken the correct steps to try and get Google Maps corrected. The ambulance service use pretty much Google Street View to find properties in an emergency.
Oh,
good idea. I mean, if it's a rural area and you look at,
and I'm in a rural area, and of course I have, because of my disability, I have carers come in twice a day, and if they send a new person, I have to send them. I very often I'll get a phone call from the office that manages it to ask me to give them the details of how to find my house for them to pass on to the carer, or even get the carer to ring me directly from their mobile phone so that they can ask me to explain how to find my property, because they'll spend the whole time of the supposed call driving round and round and round looking for the place because it's fairly new. Most integrated car sat navs
may not have it.
Don't correctly show the location of the property, and take you to the junction of take you to the point on the road where the name of my road changes into the name of the other road. It becomes at the other end of the village.
Yeah, without any visual cues as to that actually happened. Yeah. I hate when that's in those cases. Here, that never happens unless it's in an intersection. I mean, you will never find one street that has either a what would you call it, a 4-way intersection, or even just a 3-way intersection. I mean, a street that has 2 street names, that is. You will never find it unless it has at least one intersection of some kind. It would be there where the name changes.
Well, an interesting thing that I've found driving around my area, especially up towards one of the ice rinks that I frequent, is, okay, so imagine you're coming up to a 3-way stop. You're coming to a T where you're coming up and the other street is going left to right across your view. Your street, the street you are on, is one name. you get up to the intersection. The left side is the same street name you're on. The right turn puts you onto a different street name entirely.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the other way around, and sometimes it is a different street you come up to either way, either if you're turn left or right.
Yeah, those are the fun ones when they decide to use the cross T to change the name of the street. Now, I can see if you're changing the name with of both streets, so you're on one street to the intersection, then no matter what, you're on something else. That
either
kind
one
of makes
other
sense.
or two other. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be the worst part. The worst part is if they don't put up signs indicating it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the difficulty.
I think a lot of the problems come, as you say, where you have a road, where you have a T, and you come up to it, and the main road names change either side of the T. Very often you can find that initially, because of property lines, the road that comes up to the T and then you do the right, and they stay the same name because initially
that was the only road. That
was the road, and then the new road is then put in and connects up with a new name, but because of where traffic flows are going to go, and to make the junction safer, you have to give way across the T rather than having the main road do a right turn and a junction come out on that corner.
Well, actually, I've seen plenty of times in Copenhagen specifically, we have these T intersections where both the road you're on and both roads, on your left and right side is the same street name. That I have come across too, but that would usually be in smaller industry areas, where you have not factories but companies that lives in parks, where many a lot of streets are very small in length. Short in length, and they just give a whole section of small streets the same street name.
Yeah, we get that on industrial.
If you're not familiar with that area, you get confused really quickly.
We get that on a lot of industrial estates here as well.
Yeah,
and not just in big cities, even some quite small, even some quite small towns get that.
Yeah. But in terms of what you said earlier, Ellen, I think it would be even worse, if you had the NHS coming by. Oh, sorry, an ambulance coming by, and you're in an area where where you know that the address isn't necessarily correct on their sat navs. It would be even worse if it was an area that was more or less built on an assembly line, where all the houses are identical.
Oh yeah.
And there's local housing rules that applies, where you can't even have different colored doors, for example, or mailboxes.
You run into a number of those types of places in the Mid-Atlantic and out towards the Midwest and Southern California, where their housing communities, their homeowners associations, they restrict what you can and cannot do to your home from a visual aspect. And a lot of the areas are cookie cutter placement. So it's easy to get lost and disoriented in them if you don't know exactly where you're going.
And I have a lot of ham radio friends in the U.S. specifically that has huge problems with the homeowners associations, where they try to prohibit ham radio operators putting up their antennas, even if it's a discrete ones, under the excuse that we have cable TV here. Antennas are not allowed. That kind of thing.
Oh
I mean,
God.
even when they try to say, okay, listen here, let's just put the actual laws about this. You're not allowed to impede my hobby unless you have a legal reason to do so. Let's just put that aside. You want me to connect my 1.5 kilowatt transmitter to my cable TV connection? You don't know what you're talking about, man. I mean, there's so many problems there with the homeowners association. Many good things. I mean, you don't want to put a nice-looking residential area that is mostly populated by elderly people that just wants everything just to be quiet and peaceful, and that you have some restrictions on that, and just to make it pleasant for everyone. That's fair enough. But when it oversteps, for example, I mean, just creating creating a lot of ruckus because some homeowner wants to have heaven forbid, a dark green mailbox on the curb instead of a black one or a white one, as per the standard.
And
it's just
and that's where my thought is if you are of the older generation and you want to live in an area that's quiet, by all means find a senior type of environment like that to live in. A regular neighborhood, a freely open neighborhood, you're going to have changes in the population because families move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is actually something I struggle to understand sometimes is these homeowner associations, because it's just a concept we don't have here in the UK. The most we might have is when a new development is built, there may be restrictions in the deeds
Council?
of the property that limit certain things you can do, such as you can't park commercial vehicles on your property. But generally that is usually or caravans. But that will be the one of the few limitations that you actually get on what you can and can't do with your property.
And that's the thing is HOAs started with that. They started with simple community bylaws in that aspect, but then they expanded it to, well, if we find a way to go ahead and make it so everyone's property value maintains or stays within a certain percentage of each other, then how can we do that? Oh, well, we have to make sure that everyone keeps their yard clean and kept, that everyone keeps the exterior of their house to a certain standard, and oh wait, we can't have them do crazy colors because that might negatively affect the property value of everyone around them.
Yeah, but I would say that if it's a quote nice area unquote, I can accept a rule in an HOA that you have to keep your front lawn respectable. I mean, to a certain standard. I mean, at least mow the lawn when it before it starts becoming a jungle. That would be fair in my opinion. But setting up rules where you have to choose between 3 or 4 different colors for your facade or your front door or your mailbox. That's overdoing it. But I mean, it's it's that there is no clear-cut line that you can draw in the sand. I mean, it's but too many homeowners associations just overdo it, and they act like they're a little country of their own, and start doing their policing or whatever you want to call it. That's where it starts to get out of line.
thing is with the covenants on property deeds here, the only way that other residents can actually enforce them is by taking you to court. So they would have to sue
I'm
you.
sorry, what taking you?
They would actually have to sue you and take you to court to get the court to enforce the covenant. That's the only way. That's the only way they're enforceable, is by getting the courts to enforce them.
Is it just me, or does the usage of the word covenant sound wrong? It sounds very ancient and religious.
It's yeah. I mean, remember, as in Denmark, our law goes back quite a long way. So the connotations and usage of certain words has changed in general terms, but has not changed in legalistic terms.
Yeah. Well, for example, there's a job position that was I shouldn't say invented, but was coined in Denmark, and to my knowledge, it pretty much the whole world uses that term for that job. In English, it would be ombudsman. The guy who, the person who what would you call it? Safeguards the consumer's rights in a legal aspect. If a company makes fraudulent claims of their product, for example, that's a Danish coin. It's ombudsman. That's what it's actually pronounced. I don't really know the exact meaning of that word, but well, the last part is man, but that would be obvious. But that is used all over the world. That's exact word. Many people don't know where it's actually from, but it's funny. I mean, some words get translated to a local language to make it more sense out of it, but some words just don't.
You know how that spread around the world so much, don't you? Because your lot came over here and took over sort of 2/3 of the UK, and an awful lot of Danish words got into the English, got into what eventually became the English language.
I don't even know when that word started being used, though.
Well, it must have been.
I'm looking into it right now.
It must have been. It must have been over 1,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean after we stopped being? After we stopped pillaging and raping people as Vikings?
After you became bloody Christians.
Well, yeah, bloody Christians is correct. Yeah.
instead of bloody pagans.
Yeah.
Well, and even then, did they really become Christians, or were they Christians in names only?
I think a lot of them actually became Christians.
Yeah.
Genuinely became Christians.
Okay, I am horrible at history, even national history, but I think that it was forced upon the population. In other words, either you convert or you die, something to that nature, I think. But
yeah, but of course it doesn't take very long for it to then become the standard religion, which means that you believe it anyway because you were brought up with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! I just looked the word up. Ombudsman. It started. The word took form in the Middle Ages, and it was a what do you call that? It was an office, a royal office. Let's see. Yeah, it was a royally what do you call it? Appointed office. Damn, it doesn't say any specific range of years. It doesn't say specifically what year it was put in. Let's see. No, the first official note, what do you call it, registered use of it, where it was put into law was in 1241.
Oh, later than I would have thought then.
Yeah.
But then English does pick up an awful lot of foreign words anyway, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's so many French words in English and in Danish.
Yeah. I mean, I live in a single-storied building, as a single-storied residential building, and of course that's known as a bungalow, and that's Indian. That's a Urdu word, I believe.
Urdu. Yeah. And another funny thing, many countries, I think most countries actually have their ground level in a multi-storage building called one, the first floor, and then second, and so on. And basements, that's either 0 or -1, -2. But in Denmark, it's the first floor is the one above ground level. It's just the strangest things that's hard to research on, to try and find out when these things started.
We in the UK, we generally tend to call the first floor the one above ground level, and the one at ground level we call, funnily enough, the ground floor.
Yeah, that makes it easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can't even get that kind of consistency here in the U.S. It's either the first floor is the ground level, or they call it ground level and then go up to 2, and there are so many variations that you'll find in the same city. It really all depends on what the building owner or original planner decided to call it.
Oh, yeah, but the most ridiculous part is that it's still all over the world. There are still hotels being built, even if it's only intended for national or national hotel guests or guests from the nearest countries, really. But they still have the tendency to leave out
the
13th floor. and not have I think it's 313 as a room number, because that is an unlucky number for Japanese people, I think it is. Stuff like that. It's just retardedly childish.
If you want the most retarded, the university I went to, which was for the UK, a modern one that was instituted in the 1960s, and the buildings were put up in the 70s. It's a very long...
You crazy hippie,
Yeah, crazy hippie university. It's David Tennant, Doctor Who, David Tennant's alma mater as well, so that's one thing. And we get a lot of US students because we have one of the world's best schools of American history.
Yeah, the British has the... Yeah.
but anyway, the floor numbering on what they call the teaching wall, which is a really long multi-level block, the level that is the floor that is at the same level as the external walkway that you use is called floor 0, and then they go, and then positive numbers go up, negative numbers go down. However, because the walkway drops as you go along the length of the building, because it all slopes downhill, as you go along inside, at some point at the points where the walkway level drops, you can go from floor 0 to floor 1 just by walking down the corridor.
Well, that would be the challenge. I mean, for me, the apartment I live in, when you're on the street, I live in the what would you call it, half basement. I mean, if I stand up, if there's someone outside my window, I would look into their ankles.
Yeah.
But if I walk around the house, down the steps to the backyard, we don't have a front yard, but when I walk back to the backyard, I'm actually 1.5 floors up, almost.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that makes it fair to have those differences. But
I thought Denmark was too flat to have that sort of issue with its buildings.
yeah, well, I do live in a fjord that was carved by the latest ice age. So I do live on the bottom of a hillside. So I live in a place that never, ever gets flooded and will never be flooded.
Wow.
That's a good thing. But because of that. But I also live in a place that that has a lot of natural springs. So it's soggy. I have a public school in my backyard, so to speak. But there's a big grassy area, a hill down to the parking lot for the teachers. It's what I don't know. Let's see, between 25 and 30 meters long. Down on a downward slope. It doesn't matter what part of the year it is. It's always soggy. Of course, if it's winter and if it's cold enough, there's ice there instead. But it never dries up. Not even during the drought, the massive drought we had this summer. It's always soggy. That's probably also part of the reason why I won't be living in this house in let's say 10 years from now, for example.
Is it sinking?
Yeah, but on one side only. It's starting to. Even before I moved in, it looked like it was starting to live its life as if it was the Tower of Pisa. And I have put up a plumb line just to see the progress. I haven't looked
marked
at it
in a while?
in a long while. No, I haven't. But I have. There is a difference from the day I put it up and the year after. Let's see, from the ceiling. I'm not sure how high is it. It's the ceiling is let me just guess about 2.65 meters high. I think that's where I hung up the plumb line, of course. And the bottom, it was a difference over a year. It was a difference of 3 millimeters. And
that's quite a quick movement.
Yeah, but it is on. It's on it's close to one of the non-structural walls. But no, there's not a whole lot of 90-degree angles on the doors or the walls at all. And it's an old house. It was built right after the Second World War, and it was built from materials that was stuff they found, just things laying around, basically. So the walls are made of straw, also other stuff, but the skeleton of the wall, non-structural walls, are made of sieves or sieve. There's no hay, but sieve. It's just
horsehair.
Lovely. Yeah.
Hey, I have horsehair plaster in my walls too. I originally thought it was asbestos. I never had it tested, so it could still be.
Yeah. But no, it was built, in the late part of 1945. It's more interesting with the house I grew up in was more interesting. That was built in 1895. It had boulders as a foundation and a coal chute, and it also had these the porcelain, what do you call them? Porcelain insulators in the hallways. It was a 3-story building. Porcelain insulators in all the hallways and all the way into the kitchen. amongst others. It was from a time where we had DC power.
Ooh.
Many years ago.
And you know what? And that building is probably still on a stronger foundation than the one you're in now.
Oh, absolutely. But then again, that building is propped up by a lot of other buildings, houses. They're built together with other houses. It's not a self-standing one. Our house isn't either to one side. To the other side, it's completely open. But it was built up against the house next to us when it was built. And that actually means that it's one of those situations where you cannot, as a homeowner, even if you own that house 100%, you cannot apply for that house to be demolished and built up again because it's propped up by other buildings or it's propping up other buildings and would present a
hazard to those. Oh, that
Exactly.
sucks.
Yeah. I don't know the laws around it, but I mean, it's obvious. I mean, if all the houses are built together, they're strong together, but if you take one out, everything it gets unstable. I mean, it's just like your teeth. If you get one tooth knocked out, like I tried, you could feel the other teeth around it feeling unstable. You could literally rock them with your tongue. Not because something's wrong with them, not because they have been knocked loose too, but because they are not stabilized by other teeth around it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's the way we're put together, and wow. Why does that one not surprise me?
You know, I've never used duct tape as a Band-Aid, but I always carry PVC tape in my pocket. I have always done that. That's my type of Band-Aid. PVC tape, and if it's really bad, I might use some toilet paper to cushion the cut.
Yeah.
That's the standard for me.
That reminded me of the level of bandaging my compatriot had after he strapped himself across the transmitter EHT cabinet. The large white comedy bandage on both hands.
Oh, was it just a basic cut, or was the cabinet energized?
Oh, it was at somewhere between 2.5 and 12,000 volts.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So a slight contact burn then.
And into its load, it could push at least 6 amps.
Oh yeah, that would hurt.
Although, of course,
in constant or burst?
these at 12,000 volts at 6 amps DC, and with a ripple of less than 500 millivolts.
Oh my God.
And that is insane.
That is.
I'd like to see that kind of power supply. Seriously.
It was.
Hang on.
It was 7 foot tall. It was 12 foot long, and it was about 6 foot wide.
Yeah, but Alan, didn't you talk about going someplace a couple of weeks ago, and you promised to take a bunch of pictures?
I did manage to. Let me call it up, and I will post a picture of the. I didn't get a very good picture, but I will post a picture of the transmitter valve. I'm going to go.
For you Yanks, by the way, by valve he means vacuum tube, but it's actually called a valve.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're called valves because they turn the electric on and off.
Mm-hmm. By the way, what is Motrin? Is that just
ibuprofen?
Okay, fair enough.
Vitamin M is what we called it in the Navy.
Yep. Oh, I love that one.
Could you enlarge that?
Yeah.
That one. I'm so happy I can't see any. Oh damn it! I can't see a trident. Oh wait, is the trident also painted? I mean, drawn with a marker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Army
It's just,
Ranger
I've
going
seen
as
some-
Navy SEAL for Halloween. I love how people still
Yeah.
dress up as their heroes.
I can't remember the guy's name, but I have watched a lot of Buds 131 videos. Go look him up on YouTube. Buds 131.
This is still my.
He's the
this
guy
is still my
that-
favorite one.
Yeah, he's the guy that is a former SEAL, and he's retired now. But he is one of those people that aggressively targets stolen valor assholes, especially the people who claim to be Navy SEALs. Most of them don't just claim that they are former Navy SEALs. No, they're former Navy SEALs, and they have many medals, and almost all of them, at least some of them, are so secret that he can't even talk about them, that sort of thing. That reminded me of him. I've seen so many of them. He's a really funny guy. He's way out of our league, that guy, but it would be so awesome to have him on as a guest whenever we do that topic that I talked to Jared about some time ago. Have him in here would be a scoop, world record scoop.
Or
don't see it though.
or there's another guy who is a former SEAL with access to the graduation rosters.
Which is not secret, by the way. It's public knowledge.
eh,
Well, the school, the training is.
Well, yeah, the training is not as classified as some people try to claim that it is, but he has access to the, shit you not, it is still an Excel sheet with who graduated in what class number.
Yeah, and the guy whose YouTube channel I'm talking about is one of the guys who helps maintain that list, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find him here.
I posted a meme that I haven't shown, Jay. It's in the side chat.
Okay, where is that dog's ears? What the?
What the fuck?
Huh? How can what the? It doesn't even look like it's been cropped.
It hasn't.
How was that?
It's just
how
once
was
your
that
ass
done?
on it.
How the hell did they do that? How does that dog do that? Yeah.
Show your asshole.
Wow.
No, I
Just-
put the YouTube channel in the external and internal chat. You should check out his videos. They're great. I've been thinking about, I've been dreaming of having enough money to put up on a subscription for his website to get all the full length videos that he makes, because him and his wife makes the most thigh smashingly laughable videos. They really have a lot of fun on with their videos.
I've stuck the picture of the transmitter valve on Discord.
Right.
Since I
Thanks.
wasn't sure.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see.
Since I wasn't sure how to stuff it into the.
Why did I think of a prototype of how a Dalek should look like?
It's not far off.
No. Okay. Are those connectors on the bottom there?
The connectors on the bottom are for the oil and water cooling hoses.
Okay. Yeah. It's just, before I zoomed in, the first thought I had was that it was power lock connectors. Power lock connectors. I don't know if any of you know it, but it's an industry standard for the events business, where you have one cable for neutral, one cable for ground, and one cable for phase 1 and so
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
up to, I think the maximum is either 500 or 800 amps. Huge things.
Yeah, well,
And they're fun to lug around, by the way.
you,
But
you,
it
you
isn't.
see the head of it, which is
Mhm.
actually normally should be facing the wall behind it. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
to the wall that's furthest from where the photograph was taken. The bit in the middle is the diameter of the connector cable, and then that would be filled with, and then the whole thing is filled with the whole thing is then filled with
Nitrogen.
no transformer oil.
The cables. Oh, I was thinking about the cables.
The
Or the feed line,
cable,
I should say.
the two big copper cable, the two big copper conductors that get bolted together are the diameter of that central sort of nub bit, and then the rest, and then the whole thing is filled with transformer oil, because by the time you get the pulse, the EXT pulse onto that conductor, it's at 120,000 volts and about 100 amps.
And perhaps rapidly expanding gases would be a disadvantage.
Yeah, any gases would have minor problems with arcing over, I would think.
Yeah, it's just my initial thought. My thoughts of the waveguide in this case, but antenna cables. I mean, for the Danish broadcasting network, for the main transmitters, the cable, the antenna cables going up to the antenna itself, they are not cooled, but they are pressurized with I think it's nitrogen gas.
Yeah.
In a positive, and a positive pressure to make sure that even if there is a leak, and there usually is, moisture will still be kept out of it.
Yeah.
And they use instead of getting tanks, they have a nitrogen generator on site.
Well, the RF comes out the waveguide out the bottom of it, so you can't see the waveguide because the waveguide is literally underneath the center of the device. They work out the power output by measuring the temperature differential from the input to the output of the cooling water.
They use the water.
They use the temperature differential of the cooling water from it going into coming out to measure the power output of the transmitter.
So that would be delta W.
But
yeah, whatever.
well, that's the thing. If you have a closed circuit for the water cooling, it would make sense, because if you keep the row of the water roughly the same, you can figure out how much energy is being bled off into it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of establishing a graph. Testing it.
Trying to remember.
The efficiency is different between temperatures. What the?
Oh, I don't want to know.
Oh no.
No. I forget the precise numbers, but I believe the flow rates for most of the water cooling, and there were 3 or 4 different inputs and outputs of water cooling into that valve. I believe the flow rates were something in the order of between 10 and 20 gallons per hour.
Ooh. And I imagine it was designed to both be operated with the tank and a cooling apparatus, but also have a good enough connection to the water mains that you can feed it directly as well.
It was just all. The whole thing was plumbed into the. You have to remember that the building was designed around the radar.
Oh yeah, it's like the Gatling gun around an A10.
Yeah. So and of course a lot of the and all the services were put into the building as they built it, so that they could build the radar within the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is
Jay
that
Brown
guy
has a
saluting?
question, Jared, and the side chat.
What is the guy saluting in the parking lot there? It's too
Oh,
small for me
that?
to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't always go full boot, but when I do, it's during colors. He's in his PT uniform, and he got caught outside.
Yeah, here's the thing. In the PT
Okay.
uniform,
Oh,
you
sorry.
you stand at attention, not...
Yeah, but if you do not have a cover, you do not extend your arm to your temple.
You know what? You know what? Go ahead and show it. Why the
Yeah.
hell not?
I had a
Oh,
feeling you would say yes.
That's the best offense.
Okay, Jared, I can't remember if I ever posted on the Discord, but I once saw a picture of, I think it was an army guy in a barber shop or something, that was saluting that I can't remember what it's called, the that barber shop sign thing that swirls around, that thing.
Oh, God.
Can't remember if I put that in here.
That's about right.
Oh,
Ouch.
That's about right, though.
That reminds me of the video clip of an MMA game, an MMA fight, where one of the fighters kicked his opponent on his upper thigh, I think it was, and he of course used his shin to hit him, but when he apparently hit so hard that he snapped his shin bone as he hit him. So that more or less just curled around his thigh. It was, I'm sure it's still out there somewhere. Yeah.
It's always funny when the Marines think they have authority anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, it is in here. Okay. The picture I was thinking about is still in here. Cool.
It's true. It's true. It's at the point where, in order to get any effect of the Motrin, you need like 2 or 3 of the horse pills. So you're talking like 16 milligrams,
Well,
1600 milligrams.
There are accelerators that you can use together with it, you know. And I'm not just talking about paracetamol being used as an accelerant or a catalyst. Sorry, you can use paracetamol as an accelerator for ibuprofen, but there is a catalyst, something that you can use as a catalyst. But you have, in Denmark at least, you have to have a prescription for them. I can't remember what they're called. They're tiny. I just can't remember
when you were talking about accelerant, I thought you meant alcohol, which you can't take that on duty.
Nah.
No. But when I've been out now 14 years, and still just to get rid of a simple little headache that's just annoying, I have to take like 4 to 6 ibuprofen just to make it.
Just to get anything. Yeah.
Those are rookie numbers. I take 6 whenever I stub my toe or anything, man.
So, yeah. If you just have a simple headache, you don't take any painkillers to get rid of it. You just suck it up. I mean,
there's sometimes when you deal with too much stupid in your work that you have to have, that you don't want the headache to get any bigger.
That's true. It's fair enough, but just having a simple headache, or even one of those strong pulsating types of headaches, that's not enough on its own to use any medication for it. It's just a matter of sucking it up. It could be a lot worse.
You know, we need to save this one.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, look at Pig's chicken-ish picture.
Oh God, do I even want to know?
Show the chicken. It's not that bad.
No.
Wow. No.
How about the cat? At least we can do that one, right?
Yeah, you can do the cat one.
Oh, I thought it was one picture. It's actually two.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
it's one then the other. You can show the cat, but not the bowl of chicken.
I understand the bowl of chicken is off limits.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube wouldn't notice that. You can show dildos on
it
YouTube.
just might. It just might. And honestly, I don't want to risk it. So for those of you who really want that sort of level up of humor, which by the way, I love the chicken picture because
It's hilarious.
that's the kind of shit you would find just randomly on a workbench while we're deployed. But if you want to see that level of humor, go become a patron. You'll get access to the Discord server.
Okay, I'm still looking for the video clip that I was talking about earlier, where some guy during a MMA fight broke his leg. I haven't found it yet, but this is a different one I did find. It's funny. I can't. Yeah, I'm laughing on the inside every time I see that floppy leg. Yeah. I just put it in the internal chat there. I'm still looking for the actual video.
Listen, I couldn't blue ball them like that. I had to put it in the live chat.
Yeah, but at the same time, their Patreon goes to help get things going and get more of the content rolling too. You can't give away everything for free there, Piggy.
Well, he is a kid. He needs to learn. It's a part of growing up.
Well, and a way to look at it is, if you do something well, don't do it for free.
Exactly.
Red says that every time I offer for him to suck my dick.
And have you paid him yet?
No.
Well, there you go.
That's true.
If the sound of something is potentially something that would potentially be beneficial and is for free, it's probably not a good thing. Oh, ouch.
Hey, Squirrel, how you doing?
Still breathing. I see you found the ultimate meme.
One of the most ultimate memes, yes. I have a question.
Deploy Marines. Yep, that's about right.
I have a question for you. Have you heard of D Marble moving around Washington State at all?
Yep. He's been moving. He's been back and forth between King County and Thurston County. Last I saw of him, he was. Last I heard of him, he was.
Whale.
Well, when your home runs on 85 octane gasoline and can go wherever you can find a parking space, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I have a new meme for you, Jay.
Last I heard he was in. Last I heard, he was hanging out near the Tacoma Narrows Bridge.
Wait, are you sure he wasn't hanging out under the Tacoma Narrows Bridge?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised by that, but he was at least near it because you could see it.
So he is quite literally going to be living in a van down by the river.
Actually, down by the sound, but close enough for government work today.
I take it they've got a new Tacoma Narrows Bridge then, have they?
Well,
Oh yeah, a while ago.
yeah. Well, there's this. They actually assembled a second span for the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. What the hell was that? Back that up one. Seriously, back that up one.
Calm down, Jerry.
Ooh.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man.
Oh, hold on.
Are you sure that?
Oh, that's
Could she even get into a bathtub without the bathtub breaking?
Oh, that's
Well,
trying
I
to
mean,
find
I think the
something-
bathtub should at least consent, but it just depends.
so. I'm not sure about the other
They
branches.
actually make actually make big round bathtubs for folks like that.
Well, I'm not sure about the other branches, but at least every base I went to, we had a term for someone who looked like that. A dependopotamus.
yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is.
That's-
Hold on.
The one that's actually looking for a military guy, so she can eat as much as she wants, and her medical care will be paid for. Yeah, no. Every place I was ever at, they warned us about this type of person and told us never to actually touch one.
Well,
Because
hey, for
really-
her,
yeah.
well, I would imagine that her gynecology bill would be a bit cheaper because she would have to go to a veterinarian that takes in horses and
Well, no,
big, large farm animals.
Well, understandably, they can't actually work on women that size, but usually they're usually with that much weight on them.
Jared, Discord.
Oh no! I'm
Well,
sorry. No.
A woman that size is probably not going to have kids, or if she is, she's going to have a whole lot of problems getting pregnant.
Well, yeah. To be honest, she would probably be putting her life in danger. I think if she got pregnant and insist on having that baby of her size, I think that would be dangerous. To be honest.
Not necessarily, but a C-section would be a likelihood, and it's actually, once you're that size, it's very difficult to monitor baby's health because you've got to because even an old got to get through all that fat.
All right, so that's a second one that for the viewing public, if you want to see it, join the Patreon and get access to the Discord server. Because, I'm not sure if my response went through yet, but my 3 words for that is, damn it, I'm stuck.
Oh,
I prefer
4-letter.
I would generally prefer is where's the flower? And no, I'm not talking about anything that has petals. I'm talking
This came up in one of my submarine Facebook groups, so I just like, as soon as I saw look at pigs, I'm like, oh god, gotta go find that.
I feel as
here's
if
another
I'm
military
in
one.
danger of throwing up. I am not drunk.
But you will be in a few hours.
Well, no, I don't want to say it. I don't want to drink. Not with the other stuff I take. Nope. I become scary. I start scaring myself even.
Welcome to
On
New
a
York.
serious note. So, no, thanks.
That's good for Boston as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Seattle too, actually.
That's good. That's pretty much good almost anywhere in the northeastern United States, as no doubt Psychic will probably tell you. I know that's accurate. That's accurate almost anywhere in Massachusetts.
What?
Jared.
Don't make a hangar inspection.
Oh, I love it.
What?
So
Jeez.
the uniform for the uniform inspections, you had your actual regular uniform inspections where you were actually wearing it, and then a hanger inspection was you quite literally just bring it in on a hanger. They take a look at it. You don't have to put it on. Whoever came up with the idea to do that, dude, good on ya.
So many
Okay.
abortion jokes there. Man.
You know, I don't think I've ever had a hangar inspection.
I have, because my direct chain of command didn't want to wear the uniforms themselves just as much as we didn't want to.
Well, I can imagine. Yeah. What could you? Swabbing the flight deck while it's raining. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hold on.
See, when I was
Jay,
All
is
I
that a
think
man or a
about
woman?
with the
The one on Discord?
I want to know.
was on
We
carrier,
don't know.
this is the thing. This is the thing that your restrictoids got. Oh shit! Damn.
And you know what? I think I've saw that one come through the slideshow a little bit ago too.
I wouldn't doubt it.
All right, pick a meme. Any meme. I just posted about 8. Those are some memes. Something.
I'm afraid.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Magic City get what? Damn.
Just don't show the Pikachu one. I don't want to be affected by that.
Hey, I don't mind. I hate Pikachu with a passion. Not or
Yeah, don't say that.
not the game because
Don't say
I don't care. No, I don't. Don't get me wrong. I don't care about the game. That's fair enough. But the animated
It
series,
has nothing to do with
I hate
Pikachu.
it.
It has nothing to do with Pikachu. Just look at the Discord if you want to see what we're talking.
Uh,
Never mind.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I'm pretty sure that would be Groton. I don't know if anyone quite that large in Bremerton.
Oh, I've seen a few.
You know what? You know what? Because I feel like messing with people. To give you a clue of the type of humor that goes on, Jay, go ahead and show the last one.
The very last one? All
The
right.
very last one.
All right.
Oh.
Okay.
That's my type of meme.
2, 3. Oh damn. Okay. I'm gonna put a couple up in there myself. In 12 hours, I'll have 12 hours left. Yeah, that's about right. I'm putting a couple in the. I'm putting a couple in here, just because I feel like being an ass. All I see is the end of my broom.
I posted 2 of them. I posted them 2 yesterday.
Oh, you
Okay.
did?
Actually, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
I'm
this one.
sorry for the verbal outburst there. I just found exactly the video I was looking for. Although this is a copied video and it was inverted to avoid copyright infringement
Actually,
of an MMA fight.
believe it or not, I found both of those in my Discord earlier today.
Yeah, I know. That's where I saw them earlier today.
I put them on this. I put them on the mess deck. The last 2 posts I posted on mess deck before the start of this stream.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd put them on.
Yeah,
Oh, I like that one.
gotta leave this one up there for people to have time to
Oh,
read
yes.
it all.
I was going to post a meme, but fuck me, man. That was brutal.
Which one?
Hold
Which
on.
one?
I'm afraid of triggering people's, like the amount of gore there. Like, I'm afraid that it would trigger people in a bad way.
Which one? This one. Which one?
The one on
It's the
screen or
person-
the video I posted?
It's one that I haven't shared with anyone but Jared
No fair.
Which one was
in
that
a
one?
private message. Holy shit, that is a dark meme, dude.
Hey, I want to see this now.
Let me take a look.
Oh.
Viewer discretion.
Oh
is
my
advised.
God.
That much. Talking about that much, that you have to share this thing.
Yeah.
At least internally.
I'm not sharing that one with you, Bo.
Yeah,
What,
we
are you
are.
afraid of?
Hang
What are
on.
you afraid of? Hey, I do have thick skin. I mean, I told
Listen,
you
it's
a couple
someone
days
who
ago.
blew
I
out
have
their
the skin
brains
of
and they
a.
look like Sid, okay?
Hang on.
I have the skin thickness of the armor of an armadillo. So no.
Yeah. Armadillo armor isn't that thick. You'd probably need at least a T-34. Wow.
Jared posted it.
Wow.
Jared posted it.
3, 2,
What the-
1.
I agree.
So that quick flash is all we're doing on the live stream of that one. Again,
Yep.
for anyone who wants to see, in the description there is a link to the Patreon. Go ahead, go become a member, and you will get full unfettered access to the Discord server.
Once box is
Hey, Jerry, this looks like the picture you sent me earlier today.
Yes.
Oh, And actually, Alan, if you haven't posted on this Discord yet, you should probably share the one you put on Geostreber's Discord channel.
Yeah, I put that on here
You did already.
before. I'll post it. I'll post it on the Discord again, just so it's easy to.
Should I share the last one?
I agree with this. The choice between the two of them is really easy.
Yeah. Share the one that Squirrel posted.
Yeah, the one with the white guy. Yeah.
I think I win me more. Like whatever we had, I just fucking obliterated it. Like goddamn.
Oh, I haven't even begun to try.
Before God, before Mom, they call for me. I will always come for them. Oh, wait.
That's not even me trying. I just saw that.
Well,
and
he
pull it up.
has a fuck ton of glow sticks.
Those would be flares.
No, those are glow sticks. Seriously? No, they're not flares.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're glow sticks.
They're flares.
They're the pop flares.
Yep, those
Huh.
are,
Okay.
they're flares of various colors.
Okay.
You can talk
What
in.
would
You
the-
can say popping.
Oh, brother, let's go
Oh,
down,
Okay, fair enough.
down to the river. To
Well, okay, it would be if
Hey, let's do
it would
that
make
first.
sense if you feel the need to pop out send a 9-liner and during the night, and the helicopter needs to know where you are and also know about the wind conditions. They could serve two
How-
purposes, I guess.
How is this the Air Force? This person's actually holding the weapon semi-correctly.
Yeah, I know, right? What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's
oh,
only
that
his
one,
index
okay.
finger that's it's a bit
Oh, it
off.
might be a
Literally.
woman though.
Yeah, we
yeah,
can't. We
that
cannot
was
assume
big
gender.
news.
That shit is sick and wrong.
And the one that Alan just
Yeah, I did just post the.
Okay.
the one that Alan just put in there, it had the greatest response from Geostreber. After that one. It's
T-shirt
just-
one.
Yeah.
T-shirt.
That's
I mean, he put in. Yeah, I mean, he put in a simple the simple comment of "my heads up to you"
Yes.
is a bit nasty. But geez.
Yeah, I thought that was the perfect the reply to that.
Oh yeah. But hey,
I've got
Geostreber's
I have a whole Discord. I have a whole Discord channel full of very
Oh yes.
how they call that politically
Risque.
incorrect memes.
Wait, politically incorrect or politically perfectly correct?
Let's just say
no.
if we displayed any of those, we'd have real problems with the SJW.
It was still it would be perfectly politically incorrect.
Yes.
Oh, ouch!
Look
Ouch!
at that. Damn, man, that's just wrong.
But hey, I mean, the Queen of England, she does have that look on her face always. I mean, she has that sinister look to her.
From what I hear, she actually despises Meghan Markle.
Because she's not from English high class.
No, it's because Meghan Markle is far too social justice for Her Majesty.
Again, not English high class.
Mm-hmm.
Jared, was this
you
you?
have to you have to admit that the Queen of England is a kick-ass queen. I mean, having her home broken into by a mentally unstable person, and while pressing the panic button or whatever it was,
Hold on,
like
hold
a
on. We have
crazy
breaking
person,
news. We have breaking
she
news
had
here.
what?
Lookapig has got the plan of the caravan right here on the Discord.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, it's a gift. It's a Trojan horse or it's a
Trojan pinata.
pinata. Yeah.
Pinata. So what is up with that anyway? I keep seeing that the migrant caravan is dispersed.
No.
No.
It's still moving. What has happened is actually people have spent money to fund vehicle transportation for them to ensure that they are at the border days before the vote.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
And people doubt whether or not it's actually politically motivated.
Shit, it is politically motivated. We already knew that. Oh wow!
And to answer your question, Jay, no, I was not the safety observer in that. I was the one leaving while they were still working.
I thought boats
Good
would have
choice.
wrapped the end for that one.
Oh, damn.
Okay, for people that
I'm
don't know what
so
that,
sharing that one.
and
Yeah.
there
Oh.
are people who don't know what that is.
So that badge is the Fleet Marine Force. The Navy corpsmen who are embedded with the Marines get that. And
okay.
after a
Corpsmen.
spinal injury, the first test you do to see if they're paralyzed or not is literally stick your finger up their ass.
To see
If they
if
can feel it, they're paralyzed.
to see if their sphincter
To-
tightens or
To get reaction from the sphincter and also their reaction on whether or not they feel it.
Interesting. Good thing that wasn't something I was taught as a conscript. Then again, I was only trained as a field medic.
You guys hear Air Force?
I
'Cause
love
they said-
that one. Yes, those are 2 airmen.
Oh, damn, Air Force.
I just posted
Hi.
a new meme for you, Jay. Go ahead and share
Anyone,
it.
I don't care what branch of the military you are from. I mean, an M16 or part of the family of that weapon, you should be able to assemble that thing blindfolded under stress.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry, but I already
Jeez.
have a boyfriend. Sorry, but I already. Oh wow.
SJW logic at
Oh, wait.
its finest.
It kind of looks like a Riley's profile.
Oh
here.
God, it does look like
Oh, no.
Riley, but
Uh.
he's too thin.
and she.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
No,
It's
notice the color of her coat. There may be
Oh
a
God, and
connection
it's
there.
purple too.
I'm saving this. We're sending it to Sean. He can have fun with
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that needs to make. Too bad it's a still and not a short video.
I want
So
that one.
Hal Soy could have some fun with it.
I'm gonna show that. I'm gonna show that one to my Discord, man. Seriously. Navy medicine.
Mm,
Yeah, and
nah.
No. I like the look. I like the look of the one in the poopy suit here.
Yeah.
She looks like she's planning to kill this one right here. You can just see it in the eyes. Must be the first class to her third class.
Actually, I think the two guys in the back want to do the same thing.
Actually, yeah.
yeah, the guy on the guy that looks as if he's in civilian is just fed up.
Hey, look a pig. Yo, man.
Well, let's take a look.
That's fucking mild, okay?
Wow.
Shall I?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Again.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Again. You can't give away everything for free.
Okay, fine.
It's been said
But
that it has been said if people want to join in and get a lot of the
since we're on the topic of SJWs, let's go ahead and look at this picture.
Hello.
Let's show how it's ruined gameplay for my penis.
Hey, Anita, where are you? Hello, Miss Sarkeesian, where are you, you idiot?
I thought that's
Come
where
on,
you
where
were
are
going.
you?
At the top, you have, I think that's Spider-Man 1 for the PS1. At the bottom, you have the Amazing, or the Spider-Man for the PS4, or
Yeah.
Spider-Man as it's called.
But the the animated woman on the top there, that face, it looks like the face of one of those sex doll robots.
No.
It looks
no.
like
No.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
but his face
exactly.
has been squished.
It's Michael Jackson. But the one at the bottom is like, who is that chick?
Hmm.
Let me see. I got one here. There we go. Here you go. Here's one out of my collection.
Nice.
You got it. You got it.
I think this one's safe enough to share. What do you think?
Yes, yes, that one is perfect.
Here, let me blow that up too, just so we.
Squirrel, you have to find the original. There needs to be a different one too. It's a small conversation, just with one goat alone. Oh, it was great last night. How about you, dear?
Oh well, better yet, some of the after action reports after the first 6 months of Afghanistan couldn't really find anyone, so we dropped a ton of ordnance and this mountain, and this mountain. We also identified this goat or concubine and proceeded to obliterate it with a tomahawk.
So you didn't want to, yeah.
Here we go. Here's a better one.
What the?
I'm not sure who this is actually about, but that's okay. Probably the EU.
Oh boy.
Oh,
I
I like the bottom one.
I know Italy is in there, but the Vatican state specifically should be listed on that one too. Although maybe you shouldn't call it a dictatorship, but still.
I shouldn't have received a level of Discord for posting that meme.
Ooh, that one's a little. Yeah.
No.
I'll let Jared be the final arbiter on that one.
That one should never have existed. That one isn't even funny. It's not even dark humor.
It's
not even dark humor.
No, here's the thing. Yes, it is very dark humor because honestly, I see the humor in it, but it's like that other part of me is like, yeah, no, not publicly.
Yeah.
That's why you should become a Patreon, and you can see Look a Pig fuck up all the time.
Ferguson, is that in relation to shooting?
Here you go. This one here is similar to that other one, but it's quite a bit funnier.
Oh. Oh, it's still bad though.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What's worse, the one Squirrel just did, or the one Piggy did right before it?
Piggy. I mean,
I don't know.
What Squirrel put is more benign.
Benign.
Oh
But-
no, Bo, go. Are you sure we're looking at the same one
right now? Oh yeah, I am. Well, the one right above Harry Potter's.
Oh, okay, okay. We're showing that one.
Okay.
That's one for.
We're showing. Yes,
that's one for
hey,
Gilles.
dibs on moving that to Gio's. I'm moving that one to Gio. You son of a bitch. Well,
Okay.
hang on.
I've
Do I
actually
have
got
mods over there?
an animated GIF for you, and it's only for you.
Wait. Here
Awesome.
you go, Jared. We gotta get this one in there.
But hey, why is there,
Nice.
there should be an adult behind that thing, and it will still be right. And there should be a cocktail on the side. And
let's take a look at this.
I want to apologize. I'm not racist or anything, but the meme community does have a thing against Jews.
the
like
Jews
that
or the
cat.
space Jews?
Both. But the space Jews or the space Jews from the future?
Ooh.
I can't remember. I'd have to talk to Mortimer about that. I'm not sure which one.
Well, keep in mind, the space Jews from the future are the ones that Jordan of Spirit Science likes to talk about.
Here you go,
Of
Jared.
course.
I will take
Yeah.
those snow bunnies any day of the week.
Oh, damn. Yeah, so would I. it's so cold, Canada.
That's how I feel about temperatures in Denmark. Even in winter, if as long as I'm moving, I'm not above just walking around with just a t-shirt and normal pants. Even at freezing temperatures, as long as I'm moving, I'm warm. But then again, I hate the summer, so that's the reason.
Does anybody else have odd or mixed feelings about this imagery?
It's just
What?
Well, I don't see anything wrong with it.
nah. If Dragnot
If
wasn't
it-
on
the
his
one on the
date
stream.
night, we could actually get some context in it.
Yeah.
My guess would be
Well, I know what it is.
Okay,
It's just
first
it's,
aid, first aid training.
Well, the guy on the left there, he may be infantry, but he shouldn't really be a medic with his stars and stripes on his right shoulder. I mean, he wouldn't be running
Yeah.
towards the enemy. He would be a medic.
He'd be running.
No,
Or am I
Completely
reading? Or am I reading too much into it?
You are, as a matter of fact, the average infantryman has to know at least basic first aid. What the hell
Well,
is she doing with that thing?
Basic infantry is cannon fodder in a regular war. I know.
But you still need to, but they still train you in how. They were doing that when I was in boot.
Oh my
Man,
god!
all those YouTube videos
SJWs at the range.
tiny of adult but tiny girls shooting off high-powered weapons.
Oh,
All
the
those
ones
great videos.
The ones I love are when they take a liberal, they take them shooting, and then they realize, oh my god, I was so scared, but holy fuck, that was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know, right?
but there's always a choice. Okay, do we give them an M16 so they can have fun?
There you go.
From the what the? Nice. But no, yeah. Too bad the guy behind him has an M203 mounted.
All right, Jay,
Those gonna-
pick a meme, any meme. I just posted 6.
Oh god.
Oh, nice guns.
I love that response.
All right, let's take a look.
Oh, man.
Ow! Ow!
Oh, damn. Okay, the one before last is actually, that's terrible. It's mostly true, but it's
I don't know. That first one is pretty nice. Oh. Okay, hang on. I'm doing this
What the?
because fuck you,
I like
Bo.
we need to do the
What?
one of these things is not
You'll
like
see
the
in
other.
a moment.
That's going in my Discord, like right
One
now.
of these things are not like the other. Which one doesn't belong?
Right. Come on.
So, which meme one?
Putting that on the desktop. I gotta do this one.
I think this one would probably be the safest one of them all.
You don't
It's
want
the
to go
second
for safe. What are you?
Too bad we
It's not
can't
my
see the
channel.
text on that thing.
Well, the number-
Everyone add a reaction to the meme you want to vote in. Well, one with the most reactions will get on the show.
Or how about, since I'm the owner, I do.
Okay, what is the text on that meme that Jay is sharing there? Too bad.
I don't
it's
know what
cut.
I don't know what the text is because they cut it off.
Yeah, I mean, and
yeah.
you know once that's easy, but what the hell? Suicide on the top right, maybe.
That was the second choice
That
I had.
sucks.
Number 2 was my choice.
No, I said number 5.
I know this was
You know
number
what?
5.
He said he
send-
said 6.
send
I
that to
counted up
Team
from the bottom.
Skeptic.
Okay, so it was 6.
Yeah, send that one to Team Skeptic. I'm sure he can use that in one of his videos with a different text on it.
You know what? I'll send it to Team Skeptic. I hardly ever talk to the guy, so it'll be perfect to receive that as a meme.
I like that.
Well,
Third,
he-
I still like that third one from the top. Oh, geez, yeah.
But, yeah. And look at Pig. It's always difficult to get a hold of him because he's constantly taking care of his patients. I mean his clients. So
Well, you know he has to do a reach around every once in a while.
All right, now show number one.
Number one, sure
Yep.
thing.
Oh, you.
number two.
Damn. Except of course in the Middle East they don't have one. They don't have one of those. They don't actually have Miranda rights.
No, but here they do, and that's the
Well,
thing.
Warning, but yeah.
Oh my god!
Pretty sure that's not the way you're supposed to open that thing.
Hey, have somebody put
And now
up,
I go back to digging for memes.
somebody put hey, Jared, put up the one that's marked hijack.
I knew the Air Force took him young, but I didn't realize that young.
We're taking fire.
Nice.
Yeah. To be perfectly honest with you, your average 8-year-old could do that job.
Oh, I know.
If it wasn't for the keyboard, I would be inclined to think that picture was from the 70s. That
I
headset.
do like to live dangerously. Yeah. That shit's hilarious. You like parties? We got a lot of those.
That should be from an Air Force. Oh, have anybody ever made an educated guess as a medical professional as to what Hillary is suffering from? By the way,
The results of her demonic possession.
That'd be a place to start. Honestly, dementia.
no. Well, I'm specifically thinking of the videos of her at before the election, the campaign events up to the election, where you can see her more or less collapsing, or what the other ones where you can see her almost freaking out during questions. I think it was making weird faces. That's just FX. I hate the magazines on those things. Oh, I hate that stuff. I mean, it doesn't hurt all that much to get hit by that, but by the one of those. But the filling up the magazines,
Oh,
just the slightest amount of dirt in those magazines, and you're fucked.
Yeah.
I hate those. Or it's just the Danish military buying cheap magazines for them. But,
that's probably what it is.
yeah.
Oh, damn. That's
What?
just wrong. Ask me anything. Right. Which reminds me, I should do an AMA on my channel one of these days.
Let's see this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
That would have taken a bit of time to do that. Hey, those spells
feel
they've
bad
been out on a march or something? Yeah, probably.
Still one of my favorite
Yeah,
movies.
listen up, Chair Force. I'm a soldier. Yeah.
Isn't that on the slideshow already?
There's this girl.
Who was that dumbass?
Oh, that's wrong.
How can you, in civilian clothing, how can you try to salute while having a cup of coffee
He
or whatever?
is a
Oh,
fucking
man.
jackass. That's why.
Oh, are we still laughing about this one?
Yes.
I mean, it
Because-
doesn't matter
well,
who it is.
and-
If you have military history or not, if you're in civilian clothes, don't salute. I don't care who the fuck you are.
And here's the thing. I would love to have another president who actually served in the military honorably.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That would be a nice thing to have. Yeah.
I mean,
Holy,
I-
wait, hang on. Zoom in on that fucker in the top middle.
You mean this guy right here?
Yeah.
He looks oddly familiar.
He does actually.
Well, he's surface
Is he
and sub. It looks like.
Airman?
And he's
that the-
obviously McPon.
Is that the new McPon?
Give me just a second.
I think so.
Because it's not Scott, and Scott was who was the McPon for a good chunk of when I was in.
And then McPon is
Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy.
Okay.
He is the highest. He is the highest
You and
ranked listed person ever.
It's just you and your homebrew abbreviations there. I mean, I have no problem with acronyms, but
No, that was.
even I mean the first time I heard somebody refer to a sergeant as Sarn, it took me a long time to figure out what the hell he was saying. But oh well.
I don't know,
So
we
it was.
refer to ours
West.
as Pop. Yep,
It
there
was
it is.
West.
Wait, back that up a sec. Wait.
Tampa
Back to,
Scott. Yep.
Rick D. West, number 12.
yeah, he's only got 4 years on.
Yeah, but
It's still
look at Giordano though. I mean, not even 2. But then again,
Yeah.
with what you heard, what was heard of what happened there, it makes sense.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, when I joined, Scott was the McPon.
I'm noticing a
go back
lot
to
of
the
former
further-
submariners. Completely Airedale.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Glad I wasn't in when he was in.
Surface, then see, and now you're getting to the time when they only had 1, if any. Wow, Walker didn't
Yeah.
even have any.
There's another one similar to that.
The first, yeah, the very first. But then again, they didn't have. See, back then they didn't have enlisted warfare other than
Subs.
subsurface.
Yeah.
Right.
okay. The stars above,
So-
on top of his shoulder. Is that his rank or?
So,
something else?
so the entire thing is his rank. So E4 is 1 chevron, E5 is 2 chevrons, E6 is 3 chevrons, E7 gives you the rocker, E8 gives you 1 star centered above the crow,
E9.
E9 gives you 2, McPon gives you 3.
Right.
Okay, I was under the impression that E1 and 2 and so on was only about your pay grade.
Yes, but
Nothing
your
else.
rank is based off your pay grade.
Hmm.
So in the U.S. military,
Okay,
an
got it.
E1 is
Hold it. Swing back up to 1995, please, just for a moment.
Hagen.
Yeah, no. Okay, that's fine. I don't know that guy.
A little history for you guys today.
A little history for you guys. I just posted about 10 memes.
Oh, for fuck's
Again?
sake.
Not on
On the Discord.
not on the server.
I don't see any. I
don't
only
know.
see the last ones.
You haven't posted any successfully yet.
No, there they are.
Yeah, there is a there
There
is
we
a,
go.
oh yeah.
That first
Nice.
one.
Yeah, that first one would be it's decidedly Air Force. Let's look both for that.
I don't know. You could probably get
Okay,
a Marine to do that too.
I mean, I've seen that first meme, but that was on a construction site. on the top floor of, well, a completely open skeleton of a building.
All right, what the hell is with the 3 in a row after the cat?
That's a surprise. Come on. So a dude was in a rafter. Yeah, it was a GIF, and I didn't feel like recording the GIF, so I took 3 screenshots for you guys.
Oh, golden shower thing? Oh man, it is.
Oh wow. This one here from Holly Hanna looks like. There's always a bigger fish.
Wow.
The 3 pictures is actually from bottom to top.
Yeah, and the one that's after those 3 pictures, I saw that one a long time ago, and it was just poetic justice. That's what I was thinking when I saw that. I can't remember if that was a meme or it was, one of Bering's social justice videos or whatever it was. But that was just poetic.
Hilarious.
Wow.
So which meme do we show the people?
Second to last.
I like the fourth from last, honestly.
Yeah, I like the second from the last. I remember that episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, show that one, and then we got one starring Drake.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too.
Right out of The Simpsons.
I recommend the one right below Drake.
No, we're starting with Drake.
Okay.
Because, well, people will see.
Oh man, that's wrong. I just looked at it. Oh yeah, that was the one I was talking about.
Yeah, I can be an evil son of a bitch at times.
And then, then we can go to the truth, right? The one underneath Drake.
Yeah, why not?
It never involves the pain. I skipped alcohol, loneliness. Well, I went straight to loneliness. From loneliness, I went straight to suicide.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been missing the last few weeks. By the way, I've been having a rough time. Oh, wait a minute.
Went in for gallbladder surgery and woke up with both legs amputated. Military doctors punctured his aorta and waited 8.5 hours to get him proper medical care. Wow. And no, he's not allowed to sue for damages because he was enlisted at the time.
Yeah.
Man, this is one of the situations where I am an advocate of an eye for an eye.
Yeah, no shit.
Damn.
Let me see that next one again. There you go. How is a dude that old in uniform? That's what I want to know.
Doesn't look that old. Just looks kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on where it's from, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first class something. Let's see. World bars are any clothing options. What do we call it? A jail.
and here's the
so true.
Here's
happy.
Here's the thing. Every port brief to somewhere new, those were all the topics covered.
Yeah.
Well, why does it say if we get thrown in jail?
Because some of us are smart enough to not get caught.
Right. No, you mean smart enough to know to make note of. Oh, hang on.
No.
Okay. How much time does it take for the bartender to, from the point he picks up the phone till they get here, and get out before?
Oh no,
Yeah.
the trick is
What
to
the
be
hell?
amongst of a big group of them and then literally lower and sneak out amongst the group.
Yeah, that one is just beautiful. I mean, the mother of all bombs is just a beautiful and simple piece of kit.
Yeah, but
It's just so simple.
The comment is so much
then
better.
again,
$59.
I mean-
Hold my cranberry vodka. Yeah, dude,
oh,
pick us up here.
let's see, isn't the I mean, if you have to throw one of those, you need a C-130, but shouldn't the C-17 be able to carry 2 of them, at least in weight?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, but then again, the C-17 is not built to drop stuff out of its back flap by tilting
Yeah,
or by pulling up.
Yeah, it's not meant to do a combat drop the way the 130 is.
No.
Just one question on the Moab. That weighs 10 tons, doesn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah. So what's so special about that? The RAF have been dropping 10-ton bombs since 1944.
The problem is,
But this one is not, well, I don't know about the 10-ton bombs dropped by the British or made by the British, but the Moab is specifically designed to create a pressure wave. It's not about shrapnel or anything else. It's just a buttload of explosives.
Yeah, I mean,
slow burning explosives.
Ours was designed to penetrate deep into the ground and create a bloody great earthquake.
Oh yeah, the predecessor to the bunker buster. Yeah.
Yeah, filling weights 8.5 tons. Or 18,700 pounds. Blast yield is equivalent to 46 gigajoules. Lovely. Or 11 tons of TNT.
The sad thing is that I could totally see a boatswain's mate doing something like this.
You think?
Hell, I could probably even see a few A-gangers doing this too.
if I had to. Oh, unfortunately, I've had to do that. That's not good. That shit is hilarious.
Man, I mean, where I was, we usually didn't even bother with the doors. We just made our own door.
Make a hole. Make a hole. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the doors they had there in near garage, some of them were just too effective. And we couldn't really. I mean, okay, imagine a clay building with. I mean, it looks medieval and very low tech and stuff, but you would have a heavy steel door that's just almost impossible to open. And if you had an NPC with a 50 cal. Yeah, you could use that to fire and try and puncture the wall, but you wouldn't have much luck unless you could actually hit the exact same spot all the time. It was just so effective. The only thing you could do was to use some dead cord and either a big can of water or a fuel can filled with water or sand put against it. Or put it on the back of the explosives to open that stuff.
So I have a question for you guys. What do you make of the situation in Brazil right now?
What's going on? They're having an election or something?
Yeah, the Brazilians are hoping on Sunday. You've got a centrist that's kind of on the right-hand side of the line. And you've got a might as well be freaking communist.
Well, hey, I don't care what political party is going to win as long as people are treated right.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, there wasn't a right for a long time in Brazil. Ever since the former military government decided to let them have the shit, or let them put together a new civilian government, and Brazil has gone from bad to worse in that amount of time. It's just wow.
Squirrel, I think this describes Brazil right now in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let me grab. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, remember to remove your arms before he, misses or hits.
No,
Yeah, here's a couple of
just
white
don't
pills,
think yeah,
and
that's,
you can run it off.
I've seen that one a few times. Wait.
Yeah, that
Specialist?
Jamaican guy.
Oh,
That just
Chemist.
reminds. Yeah,
Here,
that just reminds me of the video of from an African university or school of some kind, where they were arguing about what was it, witch doctors, I think, and somebody in the audience said, "Well, come on, that's not real science," and something like that. He was just.
That guy got creamed. You're supposed to
Yeah.
respect the state, respect the
Yeah, the
space.
witch doctors.
Yeah, that was all kinds of bullshit.
Oh yeah.
I don't always take it any. When I do, I drink water.
Hey, I was trained to every single time we stop, I take an 8. But then again, I was walking around with more than 17 kilos of machine gun. So, plus the ammunition, plus
This
my
wasn't a
food,
bad
plus my water, and so on. So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
this was not a bad story for the Navy. I thought it was a great story.
I thought it was hilarious. Where the
Skydive.
hell did that happen? I thought that would happen here. I could have sworn that happened here.
No, I think it happened in down in California, and it was with the Marines. But since they're Department of Navy,
we get blamed for it. Fuck
Yep.
them guys.
and that,
it's still hilarious.
That it was.
but playing American football or, small boys rugby in the snow, well, why not?
I think that's supposed to be Rick Moran there. But we have $21,664.80. You still think so, moron? Yeah, that's the way. I actually read it that way initially. Or what? Wait a minute. The hell is that? When they blew my mind with tourniquet hands. Oh yeah. Nope. I've seen. That's actually kind of cool. I like that one actually.
Too bad it's hard to come up with a way shorter text box, and so you can put it next to a SJW crying about having PTSD from being bullied on the internet. As a random person.
We've seen this one before.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Sad part is I've seen that one happen.
Hey, well, I mean,
Although
Wayne
Commander like to
Wayne
make
during a
patrol.
but hey, Wayne during a patrol in a wooded area is perfect. It masks your movements. It's great. It's lovely.
Oh yeah, it does.
I don't know why people would complain about the rain, but then again, I was a grunt.
They're pansies. Well, it's like people in the Navy who complain about the rain. It's like, you deploy on and near the water.
Yeah, the water, and it's wet.
I'd like to say I just had a delicious 12-ounce steak with some carrots and a big
Shut
potato.
up.
Tube steak? 12-inch tube steak?
Nah. Nice New York strip.
Oh,
Well, Jared, you do. I mean, once you're done with playing with your sea cucumber, you might as well eat it.
Hey, I'm not eating no guinea pig now, okay?
Hey, if it's good enough for Richard Gere, it's good enough for me.
Final day sounds stressful.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's a Navy SEAL right there. Lovely.
Yep. that guy's been in the shit for too long.
What was that?
Thank you for choosing.
Choosing.
Well, at least it's for free.
Yeah, but you don't have a choice.
Well, that's my name. You want to buy it?
when you know you're fucked.
Hey, only 3 more miles of this and we get to do PT. Wow.
Yeah, that would be Air Force.
I do remember that part. Yeah. Then again, we too bad you can't really translate it. Our PT it was FUT, but it's just too bad you can't really translate it. Never mind.
Yeah, actually, but my dad was an MP, and he said this. He said this quite often.
But to me, it's just weird to see an MP that doesn't have a red carrot top. A raspberry top. I mean, I've seen Danish MPs from the 50s. They had the old style iron helmets that we all had back then in the 50s and 60s. The Danish MPs, they had bright red helmets, just like their bright red berets. So what are those? Are those practice rounds or plastic rounds or
Air Force, but not live ammo.
Oh, blanks.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think, do they even trust Air Force with live ammo?
No.
Only on deployment.
I got a new meme.
But it wasn't an M19, so what is it? What was it though?
It looked like the Madus.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Oh God.
Blank.
You know it's
Oh, you know
That
what?
one's gonna stay for the patrons to come see.
Or to close the show. I haven't decided yet.
I'll
true.
keep that one handy then.
100%.
Oh, and Jared, in relation to what you just said, Twitter.
Oh, that tweet
You
that
said that you might want to mention that.
yeah, well, it could make for an actually interesting topic of discussion to close out the show too. So earlier, for those of you who aren't following me on Twitter, just go ahead and search AT2 Productions. You'll find me. As earlier, Bull Hobo shared a link to something about where it was talking about the transition from active duty to civilian life and how much of an adjustment it really is.
I remember that.
Hell, some of us take decades to do that. At
Because
least
I have to search through memes to find it.
Well,
Here we go.
let's see. What's this?
No, I'm opening up the Twitter link here.
Oh, okay.
Since I keep my Discord handy, you know.
Damn. Well, you can do that when you're not the one broadcasting the show.
I know.
Like now I'm a guy who does spreadsheets, right?
Veteran inherently means past tense. You did something phenomenal in your past of extraordinary value. Who are you today?
When it's over, it's like, okay, how do I adult?
What do I do?
Who am I now? What I had in camaraderie and purpose and connection, I would love to return to, and I'm still searching for that.
When I got home, I was just angry. I hated everybody.
I was 5 months pregnant and homeless.
I called my mom and I just was honest. You know, Mom, I've had several suicide attempts. My life is off the rails. I don't know what to do.
I'm going to school, about to graduate, and that's what gives me joy.
When I started the nonprofit, I was like, I have to give back.
Find someone to mentor that's not doing as good as you are at the time, and find someone who's doing better than you are.
I did not see that invisible wounds are as impactful as visible wounds.
You have to be able to really drill down on who you are and how you can contribute to others.
I didn't want someone to navigate my life. And that's what entrepreneurship brought me.
Put the gun back in the safe, put the bottle down, realize that there's a whole other group of people that are going through the same things. You know, celebrate your life.
I get a lot of peace from working in the river.
Now I'm teaching a comedy class for veterans, and I love it.
Practicing the meditation.
Team Rubicon.
Entrepreneur Bootcamp for Veterans.
I'm living the dream that I set out for myself, the goals that I set out for myself.
I've never been so happy, like, I don't think ever.
Knowing that I could heal myself, I don't believe anyone is lost.
That's just the process of life. And we all being processed. We are all on the journey. We're all on the journey, man.
So I just retweeted that out to myself.
And then it really does look like an interesting series because it's not an easy transition for the majority of us, especially in this generation, because the op tempo now is nothing like it was. Even call it into the 90s. The extent that the U.S. military is being utilized now is partly incorrect from my assessment of it, but also a bit overly used.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to get involved in every little thing.
Actually, you know what? When I was in, we had to do the same thing for mustaches as they do, as the Brits do for beards. Beards are absolutely verboten in our military, but apparently you guys can do that.
Yeah.
Only in the Royal Navy.
I posted more
memes. In the end of the 90s in Denmark, as a conscript, it was, I mean, facial hair was just not allowed, period. Except for head hair, you know, but facial hair, nope. You could forget all about that. In the Navy, that was no problem.
It does make it a bit of a bitch to seal a gas mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the issue.
And I have got my hair stuck many times, especially in the the Danish National Home Guard. As a, not National Guard, that's a different thing, but National Home Guard. Way too long hair, not just beard. It can get painful when you have to rip it off quickly and get going. That could get painful.
I could still make a flat Earth meme out of this.
Do it.
They're flat as mine.
I was going to say, I thought this chief board of selection process was actually done in the same way that flat earthers decided, the earth is flat.
No. The Chiefs board at least has a process.
Yeah, that is true.
But you have to say I don't know whether to commend or just laugh or both at no concepts. Because you know what? I was looking forward to an actually moderating a debate again instead of refereeing a shit show.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you find yourself in a position where a dumpster fire is the most likely result.
Oh, it was going to be a dumpster fire either way.
Just before we get too far away from this meme that Jay's presenting right now. Now, it isn't necessarily a U.S. Marines mean, but it should really be edited a little bit.
In what way?
The bottom text should be, I'd have a rucksack full of nickels to put on this private's back while this private does them. Not I mean, his or mine, or I mean, it should just be this private, as I understand it. I just make it personal instead of a in a third person. Is that what you call it, guys?
Yeah, third person vernacular.
Yeah, just use this private instead. Okay, that was a bit well, not a bit, way off topic. But yeah, it sounded good in my mind, in my head, is what I'm trying to say. It sounded better in my head.
That's actually also fucking Singapore. The first 24 hours in Singapore. Singapore is a fine city. Oh, you want to have chewing gum? Well, that's a $50,000 fine plus jail time. Don't spit on the street. That's a $5,000 fine.
Hey, I like the I like the punishment for drugs even better.
You know what's actually fun here? Mr. Trump has had all kinds of instances where he could have used the military and still sticks to diplomacy.
Yep. Give him that.
Wait, you mean he's actually doing it right?
Yeah.
How dare you give the president praise for doing something right?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wait, we're not part of the retarded media.
Yeah. Because they had a field day with this thing and with Kim Jong-un. I thought that was just wrong.
Man, why wasn't the tourniquet deployed? What the?
Yeah, I know, right? What's up with that?
And where's the tampon syringe? That one's missing too.
I can see that being on an actual report.
I can too. That's the funny part.
Yeah, I don't know. No, nobody has ever had to deal with people like that. What? Wait. Mechanic in the Army. Thanks, Tiffany.
Huh? She breakfast at Tiffany? What the? No. Well, that would be Tiffany, right?
Yeah, she's
like a girl.
She's potentially serviceable.
Might help her hair.
Wait a minute. The tank she's in, or her?
I love it.
I wonder if anyone made a meme out of the.
Now that's a fuckable face.
Of the, I think it was a military escorted. Military escort of a nuclear weapon that was in a car accident of some kind.
Oh my god!
A bumper. What the? The NKO.
Navy Knowledge Online.
Yeah, it's the service-wide computer-based training.
Instead of wasting money on paper books, they
I think I know exactly what you mean. We have something called FELS in the Danish military. I think I know exactly what you mean. It was made by gray-haired idiots. That looks like a British machine gun.
Looking over.
Alan, do you recognize that machine gun in any way? To me, it looks like a I don't know what it's called, but one of the British machine guns that they still use. I would imagine.
The only correct way here to absorb the impact of the tripod would be if his dick was in his ass. Then it would act as a suppression.
I don't think that is actually British. They're not wearing British uniforms, but
No.
It could be what we would call the GIMP, General Purpose Machine Gun, which I think is a 7.62 version of something made by FN. But to
But I
British
do remember.
specs, just like the L1A1 was the British version of the FAL.
I have a silly, stupid question. Why would you put 7.62 in a machine gun that's designed for 50?
No. That wasn't. That's the GIMP is just a little machine gun. It's sort of M6. It fulfilled the same role in the 60s, 70s, and 80s in the British Army as the M60 fulfilled in the US Army, and Bo's favourite successor to the MG34 filled in Denmark and
62.
half of Europe.
Yeah. Well, 42 exchanged by with the 62. Yeah, and the weird part is that the correct way of using your buddy as a firing position with the G3 or the MG62 in the Danish Army was to have your buddy hold the bipod right up next to his chest, to the front of his chest, and he faces the enemy, firing the gun standing like that. It's not really all that amusing to be the guy holding it that way, while the while the gunner just rips.
You know what?
It's not fun.
I like this one. I really do.
You like me. They really like me.
Because it's entirely true. France, Japan, Russia, USA,
Philippines. Nice.
Actually, which aircraft is that on the under Russia?
Russia? That's the Sukhoi.
It looks like
47.
It looks like a swept wing.
It's the reverse sweep wing.
Yeah.
It was It was a test bed that they started development in the 80s into the 90s, but then scrapped.
Yeah, you know what? We should make room for Luca Pig's profile picture here.
Write me up the name of that aircraft. I missed part of it.
It was the Su-47.
Su-47. Thank you. The Su-47. Perfect. I would have gotten it wrong, actually.
Trust me, military aircraft is like my thing.
Well, that's because it's your thing to begin with. I don't have. I was not into aircraft at that point.
Oh no, this goes back to when I was like 5 years old.
Well, still. 1997, I was in the field trying not to get killed. Well, actually, that's a lie. I was actually trying to get killed, but I had
not intentionally.
I had the full duty thing. They were trying. Well, people tried to kill me anyway. So,
well, there's two principles of life in that kind of job. There's move or die, and kill or be killed. So, I mean, it's just part of the job. What is it?
If that's not the VA, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's about right.
Come on, that's part. But a vaccine for hepatitis is standard. What the?
Except that it doesn't work on Hep C.
Yeah,
oh, that's true.
It's good for A and B.
Yeah, mine was B. Yeah, mine was B. That's right.
Yeah, you know what? That actually is a good way to try to suss out a sniper.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, very vividly, where many years ago, where we were taught about fighting in an urban environment, where our instructor brought out a cardboard box, and he stuck his head in it. We were laughing our asses off. But hey, it works. He got on all fours. Cut a tiny hole in that cardboard box, and he pushed it slowly around the corner so he could look down the streets. And I mean, a cardboard box, yeah, that's something you would normally see in a city where somebody's discarded, and nobody would be the wiser of what was actually in there. So, I mean,
oh, damn.
If you're from the Navy, you are.
Yeah, actually, you are. I never did that, but then I have my own problems with those.
No.
And she was so fuckable back in the day too.
I know, right? I forget who that is actually.
Allison Hannigan.
Oh, you're kidding me. She did.
Oh, somebody woke up Ellen. Okay, I haven't seen a picture of Christina Applegate in a long while, but she is also kind of.
Yeah, here's a good one for you. Speaking of the Army Navy game, my dad and I had a standing bet of $10 that our particular side would win. I got more money off that guy. Standing bet $10, and I honestly I'm gonna miss it this year because Dad died last year.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Corporal, but Army intelligence has indicated that there are no enemy activity in this area.
Excuse me.
Next time somebody robots. Next time somebody robots really bad.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Oh no.
Being military
What's
shouldn't have mar- Yeah, you know what? That's actually a thing.
Oh, rant. Hey, yeah.
Oh, think about the ammunition company that thought of the idea of embedding bacon on on 9mm ammunition.
That's considered rude. Okay, one more. I got one last meme for you guys. And it's similar to the one that I put up a little bit ago. Well, a little while.
I've literally tried that experience on this meme as infantry.
Okay, Jared, send me
and I didn't find out about it until I actually jumped in.
Oh, I love it. I think we have that one already.
We have something like it, yeah.
Oh, I win.
Right.
I like the way this sucks. Well, it would suck more. Sure sucks down there. The cable's out. Yeah.
That would be the Air Force response.
What?
But
What?
so
No internet?
it is.
Yeah, what is that? It's just that does no. That's impossible.
Wait, they have TV where it goes?
Back up one because you got that was a thing.
We have this one in the thing.
Oh yeah, they're all soldiers, right? Yeah,
Big toasties.
Don't make me smack you, Bo.
Puddle pirate.
Okay, I just can't help it here. Why is the Coast Guard even represented in here?
Because technically they are a uniformed service, and they have the eligibility to be brought under the Department of Defense. Right now, they are.
But are they a military organization? I mean, I know what they do, but are they considered a civilian or military organization?
Yes.
Or entity?
Yes.
Both.
Both.
Okay.
Because they're pretty much the redheaded stepchild because
hey. Oh wait, I'm not a stepchild.
Yeah, there you see. But when it comes to the Coast Guard, right now, they do not fall directly under the Department of Defense. They are Department of Homeland Security. Prior to...
They are Border Patrol, so to speak.
Yes, and prior to 9/11, they were part of the DOT for a long time. Yeah,
okay,
they were...
PI Marines?
Philippines.
Ah.
Oh, no, Parris Island. The Parris Island Marines.
Oh, yeah. But that's the only place now, isn't it?
Nope. They still do Marine boot camp in both San Diego and Parris Island.
Holy, yeah. That would definitely be.
It's just I saw a I think it was an hour-long documentary on the Marine Corps boot camp in on Parris Island.
Yeah, so Parris Island, if I remember right.
Is it an island or?
It is an island.
Yeah, the base actually is on an island in that area. The Parris Island location, if I remember correctly, is the only location for females. But males
are also for females. Yeah.
Well, so the female recruits only go to Parris Island. Male recruits go to either San Diego or Parris Island.
Well, and the thing with the thing with San Diego, they've got mountains right nearby, so they
what the hell?
They got the Sierra Nevadas nearby, so they've been known to truck Marines out to go to do their hump up the mountain.
Yeah. What was funny is then don't they all end up at 29 Palms at some point for AIT right after?
Something like that, yeah.
It's their advanced infantry training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't this the truth, though?
All right, Jared, I posted 4 really fucked up memes. You get to pick one.
All right. Good, because we got to end this shit because I got stuff to do tomorrow.
Then we have movie night tonight.
You might.
Wow.
The Eliana one's actually kind of.
Oof.
That first one is bad.
Yeah, it's definitely a feminist retarded. Feminist retard.
I'm thinking the middle one of those 3.
The Arthur one? Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Arthur. So for anyone who watching this,
I really like the third one.
Who enjoyed that show as a kid.
We are not going to ruin your childhood repeatedly. Your childhood is effective. It's officially over, right there. Your childhood is dead.
Yes, and for those who have watched the show and enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe. There is
we still have to show the last meme, didn't we?
Is that?
You know the meme.
And which one was that?
The priest.
Oh, yes.
I got it right here.
There you go. Now that's a meme.
You. His girlfriend, his brother, his ex, or his father, you. Oh. Somebody actually put some work into that shit.
Yeah, whoever created that, kudos.
Yeah.
So, if you've made it this far, fuck, you're damaged and you belong here with us anyways. Otherwise,
that's why I'm here.
Go ahead and subscribe. And for those who are interested in seeing the memes that we skipped over, in the description box, you will find a link to the Patreon page. Every person who is a patron does get access to the Discord server, so you can see all the fucked up shit that goes on in the background. Also, you can have a hand in picking any topics that we discuss on this. But with that, it is now time to call it a night, because some of us got shit to do this weekend. So we will see you next time on episode 21.